Elena Torres thought her biggest problem was counting tips at a dead-end diner job until her ex-boyfriend's psychotic new lover chained her to a tree in the middle of nowhere and left her to die. But when a 7-year-old mute boy runs 3 miles through the night to find help, he doesn't just stumble upon anyone. He finds the most dangerous man in the city, a mafia boss haunted by the violent death of his own family. What starts as a simple rescue becomes an impossible choice. Accept protection from a killer or watch her little brother become the next target. Because in Matteo Romano's world, love doesn't just conquer all, it destroys everything in its path. And Elena is about to discover that some men don't just break hearts, they rewrite your entire destiny. Subscribe and comment below if you think Elena should run or stay. Because trust me, her next decision will shock you more than her first. Elena Torres pressed her back against the diner's greasy wall, her heart hammered against her ribs. The kitchen timer shrieked above the clatter of dishes. "Order up!" Mike shouted from behind the grill. She grabbed the steaming plates. Her hands shook as she balanced them on her forearms. Table 6 waited with impatient faces. Sorry for the wait. Elena forced a smile as she set down their burgers. The man at the table grunted. His wife rolled her eyes. No tip tonight. Elena felt exhausted. The double shift stretched her thin. She glanced toward the corner booth where Leo sat coloring. His dark head bent over his crayon box. He drew houses with stick figures inside. Always the same picture. Always silent. "Elena, you're done." Mike wiped his hands on his apron. "Take the kid and get out of here." She nodded. Her fingers fumbled with her apron strings. The tips in her pocket felt light, too light for rent week. "Come on, Leo." She touched his shoulder. He looked up with wide brown eyes, so much older than 7 years should allow. He packed his crayons without a word. Elena felt her chest tighten. 3 months since the accident. 3 months of silence from her little brother. The diner's bell chimed as they stepped outside. Rain threatened in the dark clouds overhead. Elena pulled Leo close as they walked toward the bus stop. A car engine rumbled behind them. Elena felt fear spike through her. She turned to look. A black sedan crawled along the curb. The windows were tinted too dark to see inside. "Walk faster," she whispered to Leo. His small hand gripped hers. They hurried toward the main street. The car's engine grew louder. Elena's breath caught. She recognized that sound. Dario's Camaro. Her ex-boyfriend's new obsession had been following her for weeks, making threats, leaving messages. The police called it a domestic issue. Nothing they could do without proof. The car pulled ahead and stopped at the corner. Elena felt her stomach drop. Dario stepped out, tall and lean with cruel eyes. His leather jacket hung open despite the cool air. "Elena." His voice was smooth, dangerous. She pushed Leo behind her. "Stay away from us. We need to talk." Dario moved closer. "About Marcus. About what you owe." "I don't owe him anything." Elena felt her pulse racing. "We broke up. It's over." "He doesn't think so." Dario's smile was cold. "Neither do I." Elena felt Leo's fingers dig into her jacket. She needed to get him away from here, away from this. "Please, just leave us alone." Dario laughed. The sound made her skin crawl. "Can't do that, sweetheart." He stepped closer. "Marcus wants to see you. Tonight." "No." Elena's voice was firm. "Tell him no." Something shifted in Dario's expression. His eyes went dark. "Wrong answer." He lunged forward. Elena screamed and shoved Leo away. "Run! Go to Mrs. Garcia." Leo hesitated for one terrible moment. Then he bolted down the street. His small legs carried him toward the apartment building. Dario grabbed Elena's wrist. His grip was iron. Stupid move. His breath was hot against her ear. "Now you're coming with me." Elena felt panic flood her system. She twisted and fought, her nails raked across his cheek. "You little—" Dario backhanded her. Stars exploded across her vision. The taste of blood filled her mouth. He dragged her toward the car. Elena's feet slipped on the wet pavement. She could see Leo's figure disappearing around the corner. At least he was safe. At least he got away. Dario shoved her toward the trunk. Elena's heart stopped. "No, please, I'll go with you. Just not— should have thought of that before." Dario's voice was ice. He forced her into the cramped space. Elena felt the metal slam shut above her. Darkness swallowed everything. The car lurched forward. Elena felt every bump and turn. Her wrists burned where the rope cut into her skin. Time stretched. Minutes or hours passed. She couldn't tell. Finally, the car stopped. Dario hauled her out of the trunk. Trees surrounded them on all sides. No houses, no lights. "Perfect spot," he said. "Nice and quiet." Elena felt terror freeze her blood. "What do you want?" "Marcus wants you to understand." Dario pulled rope from his jacket. "Wants you to think about your choices." He dragged her toward a massive oak tree. The rope bit into her wrists as he tied her to the trunk. "Someone will find you." His voice was casual. "Eventually." Elena felt desperation claw at her throat. "Dario, please, I have a little brother. He needs me." "Should have thought of that." He turned toward his car. "Wait!" Elena's voice cracked. "How long are you leaving me here?" Dario paused at his car door. His smile was cruel. "Long enough." The engine roared to life. Tile lights disappeared into the darkness. Elena was alone. The rope cut into her wrists when she moved. Her shoulders ached from the awkward position. Rain began to fall in cold drops. She thought of Leo. Was he safe? Had he found Mrs. Garcia? Would anyone believe his story? Elena felt tears mix with the rain on her cheeks. Leo was mute. How could he tell anyone where she was? Hours crawled by. The rain soaked through her uniform. Her teeth chattered from the cold. Lightning split the sky. Thunder rolled across the forest. Elena felt her strength ebbing with each passing hour. She drifted in and out of consciousness. In her dreams, she heard Leo calling her name, his voice clear and strong. When she woke, dawn was breaking. Her body felt like ice. The rope had rubbed her wrists raw. Elena felt hope dying in her chest. No one was coming. No one knew where to look. She closed her eyes and tried to think of something warm. Leo's smile when she read him stories. His small hand in hers. His drawings of stick figure families. A car engine cut through the morning air. Elena's eyes snapped open. Hope flared in her chest, then died just as quickly. It could be Dario coming back, or worse. The engine grew louder, closer. Elena heard car doors slam. "This way," a deep voice said. The boy was clear about the direction. Elena felt her breath catch. The boy? Leo? Footsteps crunched through the underbrush. Two men emerged from the trees. One was older with silver hair. The other was younger, broader. His face was carved from granite. "There," the older man said, just like the kid described. The younger man moved toward her. His eyes were dark green, cold as winter sea. "Elena Torres?" His voice was rough velvet. She nodded. Her throat was too dry to speak. He knelt beside her. His hands worked at the rope with practiced efficiency. "Your brother sent us." The bonds fell away. "He's safe." Elena felt relief flood through her. She tried to stand. Her legs buckled. Strong arms caught her, lifted her. The man's chest was solid against her cheek. "I've got you." His voice was closer now, warmer. Elena felt something shift in her chest. This stranger held her with infinite care. His touch was gentle, despite his obvious strength. "Who are you?" she whispered. His eyes found hers. Something dark moved in their depths. "Matteo Romano." Elena felt recognition stir. She'd heard that name whispered in the diner, in the neighborhood, always with fear. The Mafia boss. "What do you want with me?" Her voice was barely audible. Matteo's jaw tightened. "To keep you alive." He carried her toward a black car. The older man held the door open. "Sir," the man said quietly, "we found the one responsible. Dario Voss." Something shifted in Matteo's expression. His eyes went cold as Arctic ice. "Good." His voice was deadly quiet. "Make sure he understands the price of touching what's under my protection." Elena felt a shiver that had nothing to do with cold. She'd been pulled from one nightmare into another. But Leo was safe. That was all that mattered. Matteo settled her in the car's warm interior. The leather seats were soft against her bruised body. "Where's my brother?" she asked. "At my home." Matteo's voice was gentle again. "With people who will care for him." The car pulled away from the forest. Elena watched the trees fade behind them, her old life disappearing with every mile. "I need to see him." Elena felt panic rising. "I need to know he's okay." "You will." Matteo's voice was certain. "I give you my word." Elena felt her eyes growing heavy. Exhaustion pulled at her consciousness. But Matteo's presence beside her felt solid, real. For the first time in hours, she felt safe. The car turned through massive gates. A mansion rose before them. Stone and glass gleamed in the morning light. "Welcome home," Matteo said quietly. Elena felt her heart stop. This wasn't her home. This was his world, dark and dangerous. But Leo was here. Leo was safe. That made it worth any price. The car stopped at the front entrance. Matteo lifted her again. His arms were steady and sure. "I can walk," Elena protested weakly. "No." His voice was firm. "You can't." He carried her up marble steps, through doors that opened without his touch, into a world she'd only seen in movies. An older woman with kind eyes rushed toward them. Her gray hair was pulled back in a neat bun. "Povera bambina," she murmured. "So cold, so hurt." "Nonna Rosa will take care of you," Matteo said. "Get you warm. Fed." "Leo?" Elena felt tears threatening again. "Sleeping upstairs." Rosa's voice was soft. "Safe as houses." Matteo climbed a curved staircase. His footsteps were silent on thick carpet. He pushed open a door with his shoulder. The bedroom was larger than Elena's entire apartment. A fire crackled in a stone fireplace. Warm light filled the space. Matteo set her on a massive bed. The mattress felt softer than clouds. "Rest." His voice was a command. "I'll bring your brother when you wake." Elena felt her eyes searching his face. "Why are you helping us?" Matteo was quiet for a long moment. Something painful moved across his features. "Because I know what it means to lose family." His voice was rough. "And your brother asked me to find you." "He doesn't speak." Elena felt confusion cloud her thoughts. "He spoke to me." Matteo's eyes were soft. "About you? About how you take care of him." Elena felt her breath catch. Leo had spoken? After 3 months of silence? "Sleep," Matteo said again. "Everything else can wait." He moved toward the door. Elena felt panic spike through her. "Wait." Her voice stopped him. "What happens now?" Matteo turned back. His face was serious, determined. "Now you're under my protection." His voice was final. "Both of you. I don't understand." "You will." Matteo's eyes found hers. "But first, you heal." The door closed behind him with a soft click. Elena was alone in the warm room. She pulled the soft blankets around her shoulders. Her body ached in a dozen places, but she was alive. Leo was safe, and somewhere in this mansion, a dangerous man had promised to protect them. Elena felt sleep pulling at her consciousness. For the first time in months, she let herself relax. Tomorrow, she would face whatever came next. Tonight, she would rest. The fire crackled softly in the hearth. Elena closed her eyes and let the warmth take her. She was safe, but at what cost? Elena woke to sunlight streaming through tall windows. For a moment, she forgot where she was. Then memory crashed back. The forest, the ropes, Matteo Romano. She sat up too quickly. Pain shot through her shoulders. "Easy, Bambina." Rosa appeared with a breakfast tray. "Your body needs time." "Where's Leo?" Elena felt panic rising in her chest. "Downstairs with Mr. Romano." Rosa set the tray on the bedside table. "Eating pancakes and drawing pictures?" Elena felt relief flood through her. "He's really okay?" "See for yourself." Rosa helped her stand. "But first, you eat." The food was better than anything Elena had tasted in years. Real butter, fresh fruit, coffee that didn't come from a gas station. "This is too much," Elena said quietly. Rosa's eyes were kind. "Mr. Romano takes care of his people." "I'm not his people," Elena felt the need to clarify. "We're just temporary." Something shifted in Rosa's expression. Nothing is temporary with that man. When he decides to protect someone, it's forever. Elena felt unease prickle her skin. Forever was a long time, especially in this world. Rosa brought her clean clothes, jeans that fit perfectly, a soft sweater in deep blue. "How did he know my size?" Elena asked. "Mr. Romano notices details." Rosa's voice was careful. "It keeps people alive." Elena felt her chest tighten. She was already being watched, studied, catalogued. They walked downstairs together. The mansion was even grander in daylight. Marble floors gleamed. Crystal chandeliers caught the morning sun. Voices drifted from a large room ahead. Elena heard Leo's laugh, actual laughter. Her breath caught. She hadn't heard that sound in months. They entered a bright kitchen. Leo sat at a massive table with Matteo. Paint covered his small hands. A half-finished picture lay between them. "Elena!" Leo jumped up and ran to her. Elena felt tears spring to her eyes. He'd spoken her name, clear and strong. She knelt and pulled him close. His small body was warm and solid against hers. "I was so scared," she whispered into his hair. "I know." Leo's voice was soft. "But I found help, like you always said." Elena felt her heart breaking and healing at the same time. Her little brother was talking again. She looked over his head at Matteo. The Mafia boss watched them with careful eyes. "Thank you," she said quietly. Matteo nodded. "He was brave, ran 3 miles to find me." "You ran?" Elena felt fear spike through her. "Leo, you could have gotten lost." "I had to find help." Leo's voice was serious. "For you." Elena felt pride and terror war in her chest. Her baby brother had saved her life. "Sit," Matteo said. "Rosa made enough for everyone." Elena felt awkward at the formal table. Everything was crystal and silver. She didn't belong here. "I need to call work," she said. "Let them know I'm alive." "Already handled." Matteo's voice was calm. "You're taking time off to recover." Elena felt irritation flare. "You can't just make decisions for me." Something shifted in Matteo's expression. His eyes went cold. "I can when those decisions keep you breathing." "What's that supposed to mean?" Elena felt her temper rising. "It means Dario Voss is still out there." Matteo's voice was deadly quiet. "And he's not done with you." Elena felt ice in her veins. He got what he wanted. I'm not going back to Marcus. This isn't about Marcus anymore. Matteo leaned forward. This is about pride, about sending a message. Leo moved closer to Elena. His eyes were wide and scared. So what? Elena felt desperation claw at her throat. We hide here forever? You stay here until the threat is eliminated. Matteo's voice was final. Eliminated? Elena felt her blood go cold. Matteo's eyes found hers. Something dark moved in their depths. However necessary. Elena felt the weight of his words. This man solved problems with violence. She'd heard the stories. I won't be responsible for someone's death. Her voice was firm. You're not responsible. Matteo's voice was gentle again. I am. No. Elena stood abruptly. We're leaving. Elena. Leo's voice was small. We're going home, Leo. She reached for his hand. Thank Mr. Romano for his help. Matteo rose slowly. His presence filled the room. You can't leave. Watch me. Elena felt her chin lift defiantly. Look at me, Elena. Matteo's voice was soft, dangerous. Against her better judgment, she met his eyes. Dario knows where you live, where you work, where Leo goes to school. Each word was a nail in her coffin. He's not going to stop. Elena felt her defiance crumble. Then we'll move, change cities. With what money? Matteo's voice was practical. How far will you get on a waitress' salary? Elena felt tears threaten. He was right. They were trapped. So what do you want? Her voice was barely audible. Why help us? Matteo was quiet for a long moment. Something painful moved across his features. Because I failed to protect my own family. His voice was rough. I won't fail again. Elena felt her breath catch. His own family? What happened to them? She whispered. Matteo's jaw tightened. They died because of my enemies, because I wasn't careful enough. The silence stretched between them. Elena felt her anger dissolving into something else. Understanding, shared grief. I'm sorry, she said quietly. So am I. Matteo's voice was hollow, but sorry doesn't bring them back. Leo moved to Matteo's side. His small hand slipped into the larger one. It's okay, Leo said softly. Elena and I are here now. Elena felt her heart stop. Leo's simple acceptance broke something in the room's tension. Matteo looked down at the boy. Something shifted in his expression. Softened. Yes, he said quietly. You are. Elena felt trapped between gratitude and terror. This man was dangerous. But he was also the only thing standing between them and Dario. How long? She asked finally. However long it takes. Matteo's eyes found hers. I give you my word you'll be safe here. And after? Elena felt the need to know. When it's over? Something unreadable crossed Matteo's face. That's your choice. Elena felt doubt gnaw at her stomach. Nothing was ever that simple. Not in his world, but Leo was talking again. Laughing. Safe. Maybe that was enough for now. Okay, she said quietly. We'll stay. For now. Matteo nodded. Rosa will show you the house. Help you settle in. I want to see Leo's room. Elena felt the need to establish some control. Of course. Matteo's voice was understanding. Make yourselves at home. Elena felt bitter laughter bubble up. Home. This wasn't home. This was a beautiful prison. But prisons kept dangerous things out as well as in. Rosa led them through endless hallways, past rooms filled with priceless art, libraries with leather-bound books. Mr. Romano's family built this place, Rosa explained. 3 generations of Romano men. What about his wife? Elena felt curiosity despite herself. Rosa's face grew sad. beautiful girl, sweet as honey, and their little boy. What happened? Elena felt dread in her stomach. Car bomb. Rosa's voice was barely audible. Meant for Mr. Romano, but he was working late that night. Elena felt horror wash over her. A woman and child, dead because of this world. How long ago? She whispered. 2 years. Rosa opened a door. This is Leo's room. The bedroom was bigger than their old apartment. Toys filled shelves, art supplies covered a small desk. It was his son's room, Rosa said quietly. Alessandro, same age as Leo. Elena felt her throat close. We can't stay here. Mr. Romano insisted. Rosa's voice was gentle. Said it should have children's laughter again. Leo ran to the window. Look, Elena, there's a garden. Elena felt tears threatening. This was too much, too painful. He's been alone too long, Rosa continued. Maybe you and the boy, maybe you can help each other heal. Elena felt the weight of expectation. She wasn't here to heal anyone. She was here to survive. But Leo was already claiming the space, touching toys with wonder, his face bright with joy. Just for now, Elena said quietly. Of course, Bambina. Rosa's smile was knowing. Just for now. That afternoon, Elena explored the mansion's grounds. Leo played in the garden while guards watched from a distance. Everything was beautiful, perfect, like a fairy tale. But fairy tales had monsters, too. Elena found Matteo in his office. He sat behind a massive desk, papers spread before him, a phone pressed to his ear. I don't care what it costs, he was saying. Find him. Elena felt ice in her veins. He was hunting Dario. Matteo noticed her and ended the call. Elena, come in. She stepped into the room, reluctantly. Dark wood and leather. Serious books on serious shelves. This has to stop, she said quietly. What has to stop? Matteo's voice was calm. The hunting, the violence. Elena felt desperation rise. There has to be another way. There is no other way. Matteo's voice was final. Not in this world. Then we'll leave this world. Elena felt her chin lift. Find somewhere safe. Matteo stood slowly. His presence filled the space between them. There is nowhere safe. His voice was soft, deadly. Not from men like Dario Voss. You don't know that. I know exactly that. Matteo moved closer. Because I am men like Dario Voss. Elena felt her breath catch. The admission hung between them. The difference, Matteo continued, is that I choose who deserves protection and who deserves destruction. And you think you have the right to choose? Elena felt anger flare. I have the power to choose. Matteo's eyes found hers. In this world, that's the same thing. Elena felt the truth of his words. Power made its own rules. I hate this, she whispered. So do I. Matteo's voice was rough, but hating it doesn't change it. Elena felt trapped by his logic, by the truth she didn't want to accept. Your brother is happy here, Matteo said quietly. Elena felt the knife twist. Leo was happy, for the first time since the accident. That's not fair, she said. Nothing about this is fair. Matteo's voice was gentle, but it's real. Elena felt tears threaten. She was drowning in a world she didn't understand. I need air, she said quietly. Matteo nodded. The gardens are safe. Guards are always watching. Elena felt the reminder of her captivity. Beautiful cages were still cages. She found Leo by a fountain. His new painting showed stick figures in a big house, all smiling. It's us, he said proudly, our new family. Elena felt her heart break. Leo, this isn't permanent. We're just visiting. But I like it here. Leo's voice was small. And he's nice to me. Elena felt the weight of his words. Matteo was nice to him, patient, kind. Everything Elena couldn't be while working double shifts and fighting to survive. "I know, baby." She pulled him close. "But this isn't our world." "Maybe it could be," Leo said quietly. Elena felt fear spike through her. Her brother was already calling this place home. That night, she tucked Leo into his new bed. The room was warm and safe, everything a child's room should be. "Elena?" Leo's voice was sleepy. "What, baby?" "Mr. Romano is sad, like you used to be." Elena felt her chest tighten. "What do you mean?" "Before, when Mama died, you were sad, but you pretended not to be." Leo's voice was wise beyond his years. "He does that too." Elena felt understanding dawn. Matteo was grieving, just like she had been. "Maybe we can make him happy," Leo continued, "like he made me happy." Elena felt panic rise. "Leo, we can't fix people. We can only take care of ourselves." "But he's taking care of us," Leo pointed out. Elena felt the truth of his words. Matteo was protecting them, at considerable cost to himself. "Sleep," she said quietly. "We'll talk tomorrow." But Leo was already drifting off, safe and content in a dead child's room. Elena felt the weight of impossible choices. Stay and risk losing herself in this dark world. Leave and risk Leo's life. Neither option felt right. She checked the locks on Leo's door, all secure. Guards patrolled the hallways. They were as safe as money and violence could make them. But safety came with a price, and Elena wasn't sure she was willing to pay it. She returned to her own room. The fire had burned low. Shadows danced on the walls. Elena felt exhaustion pull at her consciousness, but sleep wouldn't come. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Matteo's face, the pain he tried to hide, the gentleness he showed Leo. He was dangerous, deadly, but he was also broken, just like her. Elena felt something shift in her chest, something she didn't want to acknowledge, understanding, sympathy, maybe even the beginning of trust. Outside her window, guards moved through the darkness, keeping watch, keeping them safe. Elena closed her eyes and tried to sleep. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new choices, but tonight they were alive, protected. Maybe that was enough, for now. Elena woke to screaming. She bolted upright in bed. Her heart hammered against her ribs. The sound came from down the hall. Leo. She ran barefoot across cold marble. His door was already open. Matteo knelt beside the bed, speaking in low, soothing tones. "It's okay," he was saying. "You're safe. It was just a dream." Leo sobbed against Matteo's shoulder. His small body shook with terror. "The bad man came back," Leo whispered. "He had you tied to the tree." Elena felt her chest tighten. Leo was dreaming about her kidnapping. "I'm here, baby." She moved to the bed. "I'm safe." Leo reached for her. His tears were hot against her neck. "I couldn't find help," he said between sobs. "Nobody would listen." Matteo's eyes found Elena's. Something dark moved in their depths. "He blames himself," Matteo said quietly. Elena felt guilt crush her lungs. Her brave little brother carried this burden. "It wasn't your fault," she whispered to Leo. "You saved me. You're my hero." "But I was scared," Leo admitted. "So scared." "Being scared doesn't make you weak," Matteo said gently. "Being scared and doing it anyway makes you brave." Elena felt surprise at his wisdom, his gentleness with Leo. "Will you stay?" Leo asked Matteo. "Until I fall asleep?" Matteo looked at Elena, asking permission. She nodded. Of course he'll stay. They sat on either side of Leo's bed. Elena sang soft lullabies. Matteo told stories about brave knights and rescued princesses. Slowly, Leo's breathing evened out. His grip on their hands loosened. "Thank you," Elena whispered to Matteo. He's had nightmares before. Matteo's voice was quiet. "Rosa told me." Elena felt embarrassment flush her cheeks. "I work nights sometimes. Rosa watches him when I can't." "You don't need to explain." Matteo's voice was understanding. "You've done everything, right?" Elena felt tears threaten. She'd tried so hard, but it was never enough. They sat in comfortable silence, watching Leo sleep. "He looks peaceful now," Matteo said softly. "He didn't sleep well after the accident." Elena felt the words spilling out. "Our mother. She died in a car crash. Leo was with her." Matteo's face grew serious. "He saw it happen?" "Everything." Elena felt old pain twist her chest. "He hasn't been the same since." "Trauma changes us," Matteo said quietly. "Sometimes permanently." Elena heard something personal in his voice. "You sound like you know?" Matteo was quiet for a long moment. "I found them, my wife and son, after the bomb." Elena felt horror wash over her. "Oh, God! It was meant for me." His voice was hollow. "They died because I wasn't careful enough." "That's not your fault." Elena felt the need to comfort him. "Isn't it?" Matteo's eyes found hers. "Everything I touch turns to violence. Everyone I care about gets hurt." Elena felt understanding dawn. "That's why you live alone. It's safer that way." Matteo's voice was final, but not happier, Elena said softly. Something shifted in Matteo's expression. Surprise, recognition. "Happiness is a luxury I can't afford. Everyone deserves happiness." Elena felt the truth of her words. Not everyone. Matteo's voice was bitter. "Some of us deserve exactly what we get." Elena felt her heart breaking for him. "You're not the monster you think you are. You don't know what I've done." Matteo's voice was dangerous. "I know what you're doing now." Elena's voice was firm, protecting us, caring for Leo. "That doesn't erase the past." "Maybe not." Elena felt courage rising, "but it's a start." Matteo studied her face, looking for something. "You should go back to bed," he said finally. Elena felt dismissed, pushed away when she'd gotten too close. "Will you be okay?" "I'm always okay." Matteo's voice was controlled again, but Elena saw through the mask now, saw the pain he tried to hide. "Good night, Matteo." "Good night, Elena." She returned to her room, but sleep wouldn't come. Elena felt something shifting in her chest, something dangerous. She was starting to care about Matteo Romano. The next morning brought unwelcome news. "We found Dario," Luca announced at breakfast. Elena felt ice in her veins. Leo stopped eating his pancakes. "Where?" Matteo's voice was deadly calm. "Downtown warehouse. He's got 5 men with him." Luca glanced at Elena. "And he's asking questions about the boy." Elena felt terror spike through her. "What kind of questions?" "Where he goes to school. Who takes care of him?" Luca's voice was grim. "He's planning something." Leo moved closer to Elena. His eyes were wide with fear. "He can't get to us here," Elena said firmly. More for Leo than herself. "Not here," Matteo agreed, "but you can't stay inside forever." Elena felt the walls closing in. "So what do we do?" "We end this." Matteo's voice was final. Elena felt her blood go cold. "What does that mean?" "It means Dario Voss is finished asking questions." "You're talking about murder." Elena's voice was barely audible. "I'm talking about protection." Matteo's eyes found hers. "Yours and Leo's." Elena felt nausea rise. "There has to be another way." "What way?" Matteo leaned forward. "Call the police? Press charges? Hope he goes away?" "Yes," Elena said desperately. "And when he makes bail? When he comes for Leo at school?" Matteo's voice was patient, deadly. What then? Elena felt trapped by his logic, by the truth she didn't want to face. I won't be responsible for someone's death, she repeated. You're not responsible. Matteo stood slowly. I am. Don't do this for us. Elena felt panic rising. Please. Something shifted in Matteo's expression. His eyes grew soft. I'm not doing it for you, he said quietly. I'm doing it because it needs to be done. Elena felt the finality in his voice. The decision was already made. When? She whispered. Tonight. Matteo moved toward the door. Stay inside, both of you. Matteo, Elena called after him. He paused but didn't turn around. Be careful, she said quietly. Always am. But Elena heard something different in his voice. Something that sounded like goodbye. The day crawled by with terrible slowness. Elena tried to keep Leo distracted. They painted, read books, played games in the garden. But her eyes kept finding the windows, watching for cars that didn't belong. Is Mr. Romano coming to dinner? Leo asked as evening approached. I don't think so, baby. Elena felt her chest tighten. He had business to handle. What kind of business? Elena felt the weight of innocence in his question. Grown-up business. Leo accepted this with childlike trust, but Elena felt guilt gnaw at her stomach. Matteo was out there risking his life. For them. Dinner was a quiet affair. Rosa served Leo's favorite foods, but nobody had much appetite. He'll be fine, Rosa said quietly. He always is. How do you stand it? Elena felt the question slip out. Knowing what he does? Rosa's eyes were sad. Because I know why he does it, and because someone has to love him anyway. Elena felt understanding dawn. Rosa loved Matteo like a mother loved a son. His real mother? Elena asked. Died when he was 12. Rosa's voice was soft. His father brought him here, told me to make him strong. What about making him happy? Happiness was never part of the plan. Rosa cleared the dishes, but maybe it could be now. Elena felt the weight of expectation again, the hope that she could somehow heal this broken man. I don't know how, Elena admitted. You just keep being you, Rosa said simply. That's enough. But Elena didn't feel like enough. She felt small and scared and completely out of place. Hours passed. Leo fell asleep in her lap while she read to him. Elena carried him to bed and tucked him in. Will you be here when I wake up? Leo asked sleepily. Always, Elena promised. No matter. What? She returned to her room but couldn't settle. Every sound made her jump. Every shadow looked threatening. Elena felt fear for Matteo growing in her chest. What if something went wrong? What if he didn't come back? The thought terrified her more than it should have. She was starting to care about him. Really care? That was dangerous in his world. Caring made you vulnerable. But she couldn't seem to stop. Near midnight, car engines rumbled up the driveway. Elena ran to her window. Black cars pulled through the gates. Men got out slowly, deliberately. Elena felt her heart stop. Where was Matteo? Then she saw him, walking with that predatory grace, alive and unharmed. Relief flooded her system. She hadn't realized she'd been holding her breath. Elena felt the urge to run downstairs, to see for herself that he was safe. But what would that accomplish? What could she possibly say? Thank you for committing murder? Welcome home from your killing spree? Elena felt the reality of his world crash over her again. The violence that solved his problems? She was falling for a man who dealt death as casually as others dealt cards. That knowledge should have terrified her, should have sent her running. Instead, it only made her understand how much he'd given up, how much he'd sacrificed to keep others safe. including her, including Leo. Elena felt something shift in her chest, something final and frightening. She was in love with Matteo Romano. The realization hit her like lightning, sudden and devastating. She loved a man who lived in shadows, who solved problems with violence, who would never be safe to love. But love didn't ask for permission. It simply was. Elena felt tears on her cheeks. She wiped them away angrily. Tomorrow she would have to face him, pretend everything was normal, pretend she hadn't fallen for a killer, but tonight she would allow herself to feel relief that he was alive. That was enough. That was all she could have. Elena closed her eyes and tried to sleep. Outside, guards resumed their patrols. The night settled into familiar patterns. Dario Voss would never threaten them again. But the price of that safety would haunt Elena's dreams. The man she loved had blood on his hands, and some stains never washed clean. 3 days later, news broke of Dario's death. Gang violence, the report said, drugs and territory disputes. Elena felt sick watching the coverage. She knew the truth. "You're safe now," Matteo told her that evening, "both of you." They sat in his study. Leo was upstairs with Rosa, learning to make pasta. "Thank you," Elena said quietly. Matteo studied her face. "You're upset." "I'm grateful." Elena felt the lie taste bitter and terrified. Of me? Elena met his eyes, saw the pain her answer would cause. "Of what I'm becoming," she said softly. "What do you mean?" Elena felt courage rise from somewhere deep inside. "I'm starting to accept this. Your world, your methods." Her voice was barely audible. "That terrifies me more than anything." Matteo was quiet for a long moment. Something dark moved across his features. "You should be terrified," he said finally. "This world destroys everything it touches, including you, especially me." Matteo's voice was hollow. Elena felt her heart breaking for him. "It doesn't have to." "Yes, it does." Matteo stood abruptly. "Because I am this world. I chose it, embraced it." "You can choose differently?" Elena felt desperation rise. "No." Matteo's voice was final. "I can't." "Why not?" "Because good men don't do what I've done." His eyes found hers. "And they don't do what I'm planning to do." Elena felt ice in her veins. "What are you planning?" "To keep you safe." Matteo's voice was gentle. "Whatever it takes." Elena felt understanding dawn, the horror of his devotion. "You'll never stop, will you?" she whispered. "The violence, the killing." "Not as long as you're in danger. And I'll always be in danger, because of what you are." Matteo's face grew pained. "Yes." Elena felt the trap closing around them. His protection came at the cost of her soul. "There has to be another way," she said desperately. "There is." Matteo moved toward the window. "You and Leo can leave, disappear, start over somewhere safe." Elena felt shock lance through her. "You'd let us go?" "I'd make sure you could go." His voice was rough. "New identities, money, protection until you're established." Elena felt tears threatening. "You'd give up your protection, your certainty." "For your freedom? Yes." "What about Leo? He's attached to you." "He'll heal." Matteo's voice was certain. "Children always do." "And you?" Elena felt the question slip out. "Will you heal?" Matteo turned to face her. Something broken moved in his eyes. "I was never supposed to heal." Elena felt her heart shatter. "That's not true." "It is true." Matteo's voice was gentle, final. "Some people are meant to be broken. I'm one of them." Elena felt anger rise. "That's bullshit." Matteo's eyes widened at her language. "Elena." "No." She stood to face him. "You don't get to decide you're irredeemable. You don't get to give up. I'm not giving up. Matteo's voice was calm. I'm facing reality. Reality is what we make it. Elena felt courage burning in her chest, and I think you're worth saving. Something shifted in Matteo's expression. Surprise, hope, terror. You don't know what you're saying. I know exactly what I'm saying. Elena moved closer. I'm saying you're not the monster you think you are. I've killed men with my bare hands. His voice was stark. And you've saved children from nightmares. Elena felt her voice growing stronger. You've protected the innocent. The innocent shouldn't need protection from men like me. But they do. Elena felt truth burning in her words. And thank God men like you exist to provide it. Matteo stared at her. Something vulnerable flickered in his eyes. You can't mean that. I mean every word. Elena felt her heart pounding. You scare me. Your world terrifies me, but you make me feel safe. I make you feel safe. Matteo's voice was wondering. Yes. Elena felt courage she didn't know she possessed. Even knowing what you are, what you've done. That's not possible. It's not logical. Elena stepped closer. But it's real. The silence stretched between them. Elena felt her pulse racing. Elena, Matteo's voice was warning. What? Don't fall for a man like me? Elena felt a bitter smile touch her lips. Too late. Matteo's breath caught. What did you say? You heard me. Elena felt terrifying freedom in the admission. I'm already falling. Matteo closed his eyes. Pain etched every line of his face. This is impossible. But not unwelcome. Elena felt hope flutter in her chest. When Matteo opened his eyes, they were filled with longing and terror. Elena. He whispered her name like a prayer. I know it's crazy. Elena felt words tumbling out. I know it's dangerous, but I can't stop it. You have to stop it. Matteo's voice was desperate. For your own sake. Why? Because I'll destroy you. His voice broke. Just like I destroyed them. Elena felt understanding crash over her. His wife and child. His guilt. I'm not her, Elena said softly. And Leo isn't Alessandro. That doesn't matter. Matteo's voice was hollow. Death follows me, always. Then we'll face it together. Elena felt certainty in her words. No. Matteo backed away. I won't let you make that choice. It's not your choice to make. It is when I'm the danger. Matteo's eyes found hers. I'm sending you away. Tomorrow. Elena felt panic spike through her. You can't. I can, and I will. His voice was final. What about Leo? He'll be heartbroken. He'll be alive. Matteo moved toward the door. That's what matters. Matteo, wait. But he was already gone. The door closed behind him with terrible finality. Elena felt her world crumbling. Just when she'd found the courage to admit her feelings, he was sending her away. For her own protection. For her own good. Elena felt bitter laughter bubble up. She was being saved from salvation. But she wouldn't go quietly. Not without a fight. Tomorrow she would have to convince Matteo Romano that some things were worth the risk. That love was worth the danger. That they could face his dark world together. Elena felt determination harden in her chest. She'd lost too much already. She wouldn't lose him, too. Not without trying. Elena found Matteo in the garden at dawn. He stood by the fountain, still wearing yesterday's clothes. His shoulders were rigid with tension. You didn't sleep, she said quietly. He didn't turn around. Neither did you. Elena moved to stand beside him. The morning air was crisp against her skin. I meant what I said last night. Her voice was steady. I know. Matteo's voice was rough. That's why you have to go. No. Elena felt her chin lift. That's why I have to stay. Matteo turned to face her. His eyes were red-rimmed with exhaustion. You don't understand what you're choosing. I understand perfectly. Elena felt courage burning in her chest. I'm choosing you. Something broken moved across Matteo's features. I can't let you do that. You can't stop me. Elena stepped closer. Unless you're planning to drag me to the car. If I have to. But his voice lacked conviction. Elena felt hope flutter. You won't. How can you be so certain? Because you're not a monster. Elena felt truth in her words. Monsters don't care about other people's happiness. Matteo's jaw tightened. I've done monstrous things. For reasons that mattered to you. Elena felt understanding dawn. You protect what you love. That's not monstrous. That's human. Love destroys everything it touches. Matteo's voice was hollow. In my world. Then maybe we need to change your world. Matteo stared at her. Something vulnerable flickered in his eyes. That's not possible. Why not? Because I am what I am. His voice was final. I can't become something different. Elena felt her heart breaking for him. You already have become something different. With Leo. With me. Temporary changes. Matteo turned away. When the danger comes, and it will come, I'll be exactly what I've always been. A protector, Elena said softly. That's what you've always been. A killer? Same thing sometimes. Elena felt the truth of her words. In your world. Matteo was quiet for a long moment. The fountain bubbled between them. Leo is awake, he said finally. Rosa is making him breakfast. Elena felt the change of subject like a wall. He'll want to see you. That's why you need to leave today. Matteo's voice was pained. Before he gets more attached. He's already attached. Elena felt anger rise. And so are you. That doesn't matter. It's the only thing that matters. Elena moved in front of him. You love him. I can see it. Something shifted in Matteo's expression. Surprise. Recognition. He's not my son. He could be. Elena felt her voice growing soft. If you let him. I can't replace Alessandro. I'm not asking you to. Elena felt tears threaten. I'm asking you to love again. Matteo closed his eyes. Pain etched every line of his face. I don't know how. You're already doing it. Elena felt certainty in her words. With both of us. When Matteo opened his eyes, they were filled with longing and terror. This is impossible, Elena. The best things usually are. Elena felt courage she didn't know she possessed. What if I can't keep you safe? What if you can? Elena stepped closer. What if we make it work? And if we don't? Elena felt the weight of his question, the risk they'd both be taking. Then at least we'll have tried. Matteo stared at her. Something was shifting in his expression. The walls were crumbling. Elena, he whispered her name. I'm here, she said softly. I'm not going anywhere. You should run. His voice was desperate. As far and fast as you can. Too late. Elena felt a smile touch her lips. I'm already exactly where I want to be. Matteo's breath caught. You can't mean that. I mean every word. Elena felt her heart pounding. I choose this. I choose you. Even knowing what I am? Because of what you are. Elena felt truth burning in her words. You're the man who saved my brother, who gave him back his voice. That doesn't erase what I've done. Nothing can erase the past. Elena felt understanding flow between them. But we can choose what we do with the future. Matteo was quiet for a long moment. Something was changing in his face. What are you asking me to do? His voice was rough. Stop punishing yourself. Elena felt tears on her cheeks. Stop pushing away everyone who cares about you. And then what? Then we figure it out together. Elena felt courage burning bright, day by day, choice by choice. It won't be easy. Matteo's voice was warning. Nothing worthwhile ever is. Elena stepped closer. But we don't have to do it alone. Elena, Matteo's voice was broken. What? I'm scared. The admission seemed torn from his chest. Elena felt her heart break and heal at the same time. So am I. Of me? Of losing you? Elena felt the truth of her words. Of not being brave enough to try. Matteo reached out slowly. His fingers touched her cheek with infinite gentleness. You're the bravest person I've ever met. Elena felt warmth spread through her chest. Then trust my choice. I'm trying. Matteo's voice was rough. God help me, I'm trying. That's all I'm asking. Elena covered his hand with hers. They stood in silence. The morning sun painted everything golden. Uncle Matteo! Elena! Leo's voice carried across the garden. They turned to see him running toward them. His face was bright with joy. Rosa made pancakes with chocolate chips. Leo grabbed their hands. Come eat with me. Elena felt her breath catch. Uncle Matteo. When had Leo started calling him that? Matteo's face was soft as he looked down at the boy. Lead the way. They walked back to the house together. Leo chattering about his dreams, about the painting he wanted to finish. Elena felt something settle in her chest. This felt right, natural, like coming home. Breakfast was warm chaos. Leo insisted on sitting between them. His small hands gestured wildly as he told stories. And then the dragon said sorry. Leo finished his tale. Because he didn't mean to be scary. Dragons can change, Matteo said quietly. His eyes found Elena's. Just like people, Elena agreed. Something passed between them. Understanding. Hope. I want to paint in the garden today, Leo announced. Will you help me, Uncle Matteo? Matteo's face grew soft. Of course. What about you, Elena? Leo turned to her. Will you paint with us? Elena felt tears threaten. I'd love to. They spent the morning in the garden. Leo painted flowers. Matteo painted trees. Elena painted a house with stick figures. Inside. It's us, Leo said proudly, pointing at Elena's picture. Yes, Elena said quietly. It's us. Matteo studied the painting. Something vulnerable moved in his eyes. The family looks happy, he said softly. They are happy. Elena felt courage in her words. Because they chose each other? Even the dragon? Matteo's voice was careful. Especially the dragon. Elena felt her eyes finding his. Because he learned that love is stronger than fear. Is it? Matteo's voice was wondering. Always. Elena felt certainty in her words. That afternoon brought unexpected visitors. Luca appeared in the garden. His face was tense. Sir, we have a problem. Elena felt ice in her veins. She pulled Leo closer. What kind of problem? Matteo's voice was deadly calm. Marcus Delano is asking questions. Luca glanced at Elena, about his ex-girlfriend, and her brother. Elena felt her blood go cold. Marcus, her abusive ex-boyfriend. What kind of questions? Matteo stood slowly. He knows Dario is dead, knows it wasn't random. Luca's voice was grim. He's looking for someone to blame. And he thinks it's Elena. Matteo's voice was dangerous. He thinks she found protection, powerful protection. Luca nodded. He's not wrong. Elena felt terror spike through her. What does he want? Justice. For his friend. Luca's voice was careful. And compensation for his loss. Over my dead body, Matteo said quietly. That might be what he's planning. Luca's face was serious. He's allied with the Torino family. They want to send a message. Elena felt her world tilting. I should leave. Take Leo and disappear. No. Matteo's voice was final. You're under my protection. Your protection is what put us in danger. Elena felt panic rising. And my protection is what will keep you alive. Matteo's eyes found hers. Trust me. Uncle Matteo? Leo's voice was small. Are the bad men coming back? Matteo knelt beside the boy. His voice was gentle. Some bad men are asking questions, he said carefully, but they can't hurt you here. Promise. Leo's eyes were wide. Promise. Matteo's voice was certain, but Elena heard the doubt underneath, the fear he was trying to hide. How long do we have? Elena asked quietly. They're moving tonight, Lucas said. Full assault on the house. Elena felt the world stop. Tonight? We'll be ready, Matteo said grimly. Double guards, full security. What if that's not enough? Elena felt terror claw at her throat. It will be enough. Matteo's voice was deadly. I won't let them touch you. Elena felt the weight of his promise, the violence it would require. How many men will die tonight? She whispered. As many as necessary. Matteo's voice was cold. Elena felt nausea rise. More death, more blood. All because she'd fallen in love with a dangerous man. This is my fault, she said quietly. This is Marcus Delano's fault. Matteo's voice was firm, and the Torino family's fault. If I hadn't stayed, if you hadn't stayed, you'd be dead already. Matteo interrupted. Dario would have killed you both. Elena felt the truth of his words. There had been no good choices. What do we do? She asked finally. We survive. Matteo's voice was certain. Whatever it takes. That evening, the mansion transformed into a fortress. Guards patrolled every corridor. Weapons appeared in careful hands. Steel shutters covered the windows. Elena felt like she was living in a war zone. Stay in your rooms, Matteo instructed. Both of you, no matter what you hear. What if they get inside? Elena felt fear for Leo overwhelming everything else. They won't. Matteo's voice was deadly calm. But if they do? Elena. Matteo gripped her shoulders. Look at me. She met his eyes, saw the fierce determination there. I will not let them hurt you. His voice was a vow. Either of you. What if something happens to you? Elena felt the question tear from her chest. Something soft moved across Matteo's features. Then Luca will get you out, to safety. I don't want safety without you. Elena felt tears threatening. Yes, you do. Matteo's voice was gentle. Because Leo needs you. Elena felt the weight of responsibility, her brother's life in her hands. Promise me something, she whispered. What? Promise me you'll come back. Elena felt her voice breaking. Promise me you'll try. Matteo studied her face. Something vulnerable flickered in his eyes. I promise I'll try. Elena felt it wasn't enough, but it was all she could have. I love you, she whispered. Matteo's breath caught. Elena. I needed to say it. Elena felt courage burning bright. Before. Matteo nodded, understanding. He kissed her forehead gently. Stay safe. Then he was gone, disappearing into the darkness of his world. Elena tucked Leo into bed early. They read stories and sang songs, pretending everything was normal. Elena? Leo's voice was sleepy. What, baby? Uncle Matteo will be okay, right? Elena felt her heart breaking. He's very strong and very careful. Good. Leo snuggled deeper into his blankets. I don't want him to go away. Neither do I, Elena whispered. She sat by Leo's bed until he fell asleep. Then she returned to her room and waited. The silence was deafening. Every small sound made her jump. Near midnight, Gunfire erupted. Elena felt terror freeze her blood. The battle had begun. Shouts echoed through the house. Running footsteps, more gunshots. Elena pressed her ear to the door, trying to understand what was happening. Were they winning? Losing? Where was Matteo? The fighting seemed to go on forever. Then gradually, it faded. Silence returned, more terrifying than the noise. Elena waited, heart pounding, afraid to breathe. Footsteps in the hallway, slow and deliberate, friend or enemy. A soft knock on her door. "Elena, it's Luca." She opened the door with shaking hands. Luca stood in the hallway, blood on his shirt, exhaustion in his eyes. "Is it over?" Elena whispered. "It's over." Luca's voice was weary. "Matteo?" Elena felt her heart stop. Alive, wounded but alive. Relief flooded her system. Elena felt her knees go weak. How badly wounded? Badly enough. Luca's voice was careful. "But he'll live." Elena felt tears of gratitude. "Can I see him?" "He's asking for you." Elena checked on Leo, still sleeping peacefully. Guards stood watch outside his door. She followed Luca through the mansion, past broken furniture and bullet holes. Evidence of the night's violence. They found Matteo in his office. Rosa was bandaging his shoulder. His face was pale but determined. "You're alive," Elena whispered. Matteo looked up. Something soft moved in his eyes. "Told you I'd try." Elena ran to him, careful of his injuries, his good arm wrapped around her. "I was so scared," she admitted. "It's over now." Matteo's voice was rough. "They won't be back." Elena felt the finality in his voice. "All of them?" "All of them." Matteo's eyes were dark. Elena felt a shiver that had nothing to do with cold. More death, more blood on his hands, for her, for Leo. "How do you live with it?" she whispered. "By remembering what I'm protecting." Matteo's voice was soft. "Is it worth it?" Elena felt the question tear from her chest. "Ask me tomorrow." Matteo's eyes found hers. "When Leo wakes up safe." Elena felt understanding dawn. This was his world, violence and protection intertwined. "I'm sorry," she said quietly. "For what?" "For bringing this into your life." Elena felt guilt crush her chest. "You didn't bring this." Matteo's voice was firm. "You brought light, hope." "At what cost?" "A cost I was willing to pay." Matteo's voice was certain. Elena felt tears on her cheeks. "I don't deserve this." "Yes, you do." Matteo's voice was gentle. "You deserve everything. So do you." Elena felt the truth of her words. Something vulnerable flickered in Matteo's eyes. "I'm starting to believe that." "Good." Elena felt courage returning, "because I'm not giving up on us." "Even after tonight?" "Especially after tonight." Elena felt certainty in her words. "You risked everything for us." "I'd do it again." Elena felt her heart full to breaking. "I know. That's why I love you." Matteo's breath caught. "Elena, I know you can't say it back." Elena felt understanding flow between them. "Not yet, but someday?" "Someday," Matteo agreed quietly. It was enough. It was a beginning. Elena stayed with him through the dawn, watching him heal, watching hope return to his eyes. Outside, the guards cleaned up the aftermath. Inside, a new family began to form, built on violence, forged in protection, held together by love. It wasn't perfect, it wasn't safe, but it was theirs. And sometimes that was enough. 6 months later, Elena woke to the sound of laughter. Real laughter. From the kitchen below. She dressed quickly and went downstairs, found Matteo and Leo making pancakes. Flour covered every surface. "Elena," Leo grinned, "we're making breakfast." "I can see that." Elena felt warmth spread through her chest. Matteo caught her eye. His face was peaceful, happy. "Sleep well?" he asked softly. "Better than I have in years." Elena felt the truth of her words. They'd settled into routines. Domestic peace? Leo attended a private school. Elena helped Rosa manage the house. Matteo still handled business, still made hard choices, but he came home every night. To them, to family. "Sit," Matteo commanded gently. "We'll serve you." Elena sat at the kitchen table, watched her two favorite people work together. Leo chattered constantly about school, friends, his latest painting. Matteo listened with infinite patience, asked thoughtful questions. "And then Tommy said his dad could beat up anyone," Leo was saying, "but I said my Uncle Matteo could beat up his dad easy." Elena felt laughter bubble up. "Leo, that's not very nice." "But it's true," Leo protested. Matteo ruffled the boy's hair. "Fighting isn't about winning, Piccolo. It's about protecting what matters." "Like family?" Leo asked seriously. "Especially family." Matteo's eyes found Elena's. Something passed between them. Understanding, love. They'd never formally discussed the future, never made official promises. But this felt permanent. Real. "Elena?" Leo's voice broke into her thoughts. "Yes, baby? Are we staying here forever?" Elena felt her breath catch. The question she'd been avoiding. "Do you want to stay forever?" she asked carefully. "Yes." Leo's answer was immediate. "This is home." Elena looked at Matteo, saw the hope in his eyes. "What do you think?" she asked him quietly. "I think," Matteo said carefully, "that home is wherever you and Leo are." Elena felt tears threaten. "Is that a proposal?" "It's a promise." Matteo's voice was soft. "If you'll have me." "Uncle Matteo!" Leo bounced excitedly. "Are you going to marry Elena?" Matteo's face grew serious. "Would you like that?" "Yes!" Leo threw his arms around Matteo's waist. "Then you'd really be my family." Elena felt her heart full to breaking. This broken man, this damaged boy, this impossible life, all of it perfect in its imperfection. "Yes," she said quietly. Matteo's eyes found hers. "Yes. Yes to staying. Yes to family." Elena felt courage burning bright. "Yes to you." Something shifted in Matteo's expression. Joy, wonder, love. "Are you sure?" he asked softly. "I've never been more sure of anything." Elena felt certainty in her words. Matteo moved around the table, knelt beside her chair. "Elena Torres," he said formally. "Will you marry me?" "Yes," Elena laughed through her tears. "Yes, yes, yes." Leo cheered. Rosa appeared from nowhere with champagne. "About time," she muttered, wiping her eyes. They spent the day planning. A small ceremony. Family only. That evening, they sat in the garden. Leo painted while Matteo and Elena watched the sunset. "No regrets?" Matteo asked quietly. Elena felt peace in her chest. "None. Even knowing what my life involves? Especially knowing." Elena felt the truth of her words. "I know exactly who you are. And you love me anyway. I love you because of who you are." Elena felt her voice growing soft. "All of you." Matteo was quiet for a moment. "I never thought this was possible." "What?" "Happiness, peace." Matteo's voice was wondering. "Family." "You deserve all of it." Elena felt certainty in her words. "We all do." Matteo's eyes found Leo, especially him. Elena followed his gaze. Leo was painting another family picture. Stick figures holding hands. "He's happy here," she said softly. "So are you." Matteo's voice was certain. "So are you." Elena felt the truth of it. They sat in comfortable silence, watching their boy create art from joy. "Elena?" Matteo's voice was soft. I love you." The words seemed pulled from his chest. Elena felt her heart stop, then start again, stronger than before. I love you too. Elena felt tears on her cheeks. I know. Matteo's voice was gentle. You've been showing me for months. And now you believe it? Now I believe it. Matteo's eyes found hers. And I believe in us. Elena felt completion in her chest. Good. Look, Leo called from his easel. I finished. They moved to see his latest masterpiece, 3 figures in front of a big house. It's our family, Leo said proudly. Elena and Uncle Matteo and me. It's perfect, Elena said softly. Just like us, Matteo agreed. Elena felt truth in his words. They weren't perfect people, but they were perfect together, broken pieces fitting into something whole. That night, after Leo was asleep, Elena and Matteo walked through the garden. Are you happy? Elena asked. Happier than I ever thought possible. Matteo's voice was soft. Good. Elena felt contentment in her chest. They paused by the fountain, where this had all begun. Do you remember? Matteo asked quietly. When I thought you were going to ruin my life. Elena felt laughter bubble up. Did I? Elena looked at him, this dangerous, gentle man who'd saved them all. No, she said softly. You gave me a life worth living. Matteo's arms came around her, held her close. Thank you, he whispered. For what? For saving me. His voice was rough. For teaching me how to live again. Elena felt love fill every corner of her heart. Thank you for protecting us. Always. Matteo's voice was a vow. They walked back to the house together, past guards who'd become friends, through doors that opened onto home. Elena tucked Leo in, kissed his forehead, whispered promises of tomorrow. Then she went to her own room, to the man who waited for her. Ready? Matteo asked softly. For what? The rest of our lives. Elena felt certainty in her chest. I've been ready since the day you found me. Good. Matteo's eyes were soft. Because I'm never letting you go. Promise? Promise. His voice was certain. Elena believed him. In this world of violence and protection, his promises were absolute. They'd found something rare. Love born in darkness, trust forged in danger. It wasn't perfect, it wasn't safe, but it was real, and it was theirs. Elena closed her eyes and let happiness wash over her. She was home. They were family. Nothing else mattered.